Hi, welcome to another episode of Heavens, that series that asks the question, or doesn't really ask the question, it answers the question, tell me about heaven. Is that a question? Yeah, it's a request. Anyway, that's what we're doing. We're talking about heaven and what that looks like. And we're answering questions that kind of help guide our thoughts and our conversations about heaven and what we know about heaven. And there's an interest always in the reality of heaven, what it's like, what do we know about it, how do we get there, how do we get in? And so we've talked about that up to this point along the way. We're going to continue with another question. This question is one that really does have a lot of church connotation to it, but it's simply this. Is there a specific age of accountability mentioned in the Bible? You might have heard that phrase before. This person passed away before they reached the age of accountability. What that means is that they didn't have an understanding of what the message of Jesus' sacrifice on the cross meant to them personally. And so they didn't have an opportunity to respond and allow Jesus to forgive their sin and guilt. And so they go and they slip into eternity without ever having made that decision. Are they accountable if they didn't know? And the answer to that question is no, they're not. But the specific answer to the question I ask is there a specific age mentioned in the Bible? I know this is the one you want to know. The answer is no. There is no specific age mentioned in the Bible because it's not an age thing. It is a heart process and a mental process. And there are some who may be mature physically that for whatever reason never matured mentally, and they don't have the ability to process that. And so from that standpoint, then, it has nothing to do with age. It has to do with the accountability part. Well, who gets to decide that? And here's the best news about that: God. See, God's the one who gets to decide what that accountability marker is. He's the one who gets to decide what that age of accountability is. He gets to decide whether you're accountable and whether I'm accountable and whether we know enough. And so that really becomes the question. Are you and I accountable? Do you understand your brokenness enough to know that you need a Savior? If so, you're now accountable. And chances are, if you're watching this, you are accountable. And chances are, because we're now talking about it, we've reached the age of accountability. And so now the responsibility is on us to choose and to make that choice of heart and mind to accept the gift of salvation that God has offered to us. So don't get wigged out about the age of accountability. Don't even get wigged out about who's out and who's in, who's gotten there, who hasn't. Because at the end of the day, that's not your problem and that's not your issue. Your issue is, have you reached the age of accountability and have you made the decision that you need to make in following Jesus? And then God's going to work out and take care of the details for everybody else. And we are all accountable. And God knows us, and He made us, and He wired us. And so He knows what we're capable of, and what we understand, and what we can know. And so He's the one who is the keeper of that accountability. It's not your job. It's not my job. And I'm glad, because, oh, heavens, I wouldn't want that to be my job. And so that's the answer to the question today. Again, it's a little bit more about getting into heaven and what that takes and what that means, but that is a part of the conversation. We get asked those kind of questions a lot. And so there it is. You can ponder, you can think about it, and make sure that you're accountable to your Creator. That's how He intended it. I'll see you next time.